Hello everyone and welcome to this tutorial. I will show you how to make a walking, turning around and running cycle animation. So at first we see him walking, as you can see here. Then he is turning around, which is the trickiest part, to be honest. And then he is running away with a kinda cartoonic running style, which I prefer. I know this tutorial is very long, about 1 hour, but take your time if you want to learn it, and let's get starting. Character animation. How do we do a walk cycle? First, I will create a plane, just so we have something to look at when animating our character. We don't want him to fly around. So, okay. So let's look and learn. When animating characters, what most people do, at least I think they do it, they use the axis a lot. They move them like just along the axis, which if you do so, if you animate like that, forget it and never do it ever again. When animating, to get a more smooth and natural look, never touch those axes. Well, maybe sometimes, but better never. Never ever touch those axes. In Cinema 4D, if you have the Move tool selected, actually no matter what tool you have selected, if you click somewhere else except on those axes, you can move it within 3D space related to your viewport camera. When I animate, I only use this method to move stuff into 3D space. So that's the first and maybe most important thing to remember. But yeah, so let's get started. Let's let him walk maybe for the first. So before I start making a walk cycle animation, I will define a simple walking starting pose. Alright. So. When I animate, I like to use a visual selector as well as my 3D controllers. This is the best workflow for me, fastest way to animate. I don't know how you animate. Okay, let's disable quantize. But yeah, that's how I do it. First reason, when walking or running, if the right foot is on front, then hopefully you do know this, the right hand is behind. Same with the left hand is on the front while the left leg is behind. Just think about yourself taking a walk and yeah, animate it like you would do it in real life. Then next step, which is not that important in walking animations, but if you animate running, which we will do later, keep that in mind. If the left hand is on the front, then the shoulders will turn like this. Okay? So yes, this is our starting pose, and now let him walk. So how do we do that? For walking, I am animating with 25 frames per second, which is European standard, and I use 8 frames, let's say 8, depending on how fast you want him to walk. I will for now use 8 frames for my next key pose, and so I'm here on timeline on frame 8, and I'm gonna define the next pose. As you can see, I never touch those axes. I'm only moving him in 3D space. So, and I like to, by the way, I'm using shortcuts in Cinema 4D. If you press the E key, you get the Move tool. If you press R, you get the rotate tool, and if you would press T, you get the scale tool, which we don't need for animating. Just E and R is important. So switching. Same with the rotate tool, you can click anywhere else to rotate, which is not really useful. If you use the rotate tool, you have to click somewhere inside this circle. If you click on the axis again, which is not a big mistake in rotating, but nevertheless I prefer clicking somewhere inside this circle but not on the axis to rotate him, which gives me a little bit more freedom. So yeah, let's define the next pose. Now you might be thinking, oh my god, it takes forever, but actually it doesn't take long. If you are used to it, you can animate really fast, and it looks so much better than probably what you have done before, otherwise you wouldn't watch this video. I hope. So okay. Yeah, next step, when the arm which is behind, I kinda let the elbow rotate to the inside of the body, in contradiction to the arm which is on the front. I will let the elbow rotate outside. Especially more important when doing running animation instead of walking. Okay, so I defined my next pose, and by clicking F and G on the keyboard, what I can do is go forward frame by frame. Okay, that looks good so far. Just one thing I usually do. I want the leg to be straight before he touches the ground, which is how it would look naturally. So what I do in this case, as I defined all my key poses, everything I moved has a keyframe on frame 8. The only thing I want to change is the foot. I will just move the keyframe for the right leg 4 frames forward, 1, 2, 3, 4. And what we have now is the leg being straight for a while, and then he continues walking. So that looks much more natural, and yeah, you will have to get used to it, but it's simple and it's logic. So yes. Then I set a keyframe for the leg which is behind, also on frame 8. You see there, we set a keyframe, and now I go forward another 8 frames and define the next pose. Don't forget this keyframe, it will look really weird if you don't make it. So the leg which is behind, make a keyframe. Click here to make a keyframe. I have a short key on my mouse, which is faster to work for me. Okay, let's go forward 8 frames, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and define the next pose. In the next pose, he will look like this. So let's move the poles for the knees forward, the hip rotating. If you want to make a good looking walk cycle or whatever animation, it is freaking important that each single pose looks good and natural. So if you have no idea how a walking cycle looks, I really recommend film yourself or look at footage on the internet of people walking and analyze it. Look exactly how they are moving, where the elbow, where the arms is, how the body is rotating, just that you get a feeling for how things look if people move. Okay, so this is my next pose. Everything is defined. All my keyframes are on frame 16. I don't have to move any keyframes. I will just take a look. So this is how it looks so far. You could let the head drop down a little bit while he is getting his mass down on the body, on the ground. But yeah, okay, let's do this. So make a keyframe here just by simply, I know I clicked on the axis, but it's okay for rotating at least. Let just so it sets a keyframe at that frame. Then about 3 frames later I will let the head slightly drop down until he shows up again. So let's see if we can see that. So, did you see it? I kinda saw it. Well, you don't really see it, but it looks more natural. You can do the same with the upper body part and the shoulders. So I see we have a keyframe here. Go 3 frames forward, maybe let it drop down a little bit, which might give it a little bit more of a natural look. There you can see it. You can see it good. So yeah. Then we go on. This is just half a walk cycle yet. We want at least to make him do two steps or 4 steps. However, so let's go forward for the next 8 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And actually we did all the main poses now. So if you remember those 2 how many do we have? 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. And this one. It are just 2 or 3 main poses, and well, you have to mirror them, kinda, if you want to make the step for left or right leg. But basically there is just this main pose on which both foots are on the ground and he is preparing for the next step, and then there is the second pose on where one leg is, it should actually not be on the ground. So these are the 2 poses, and the third one, actually the third one is the one we will do right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. By the way, I have to say sorry if I might sound a little confusing. I had never really thought about how to explain what I'm doing, because when I animate I just do it, and that's what I'm doing now. But still I'm trying to explain what I'm doing, so it might sound confusing, but please just watch what I'm doing and try to get the idea. And to let it not sound boring, I just try to comment what I'm doing. But you should get your main attention to what I'm doing, not what I'm saying. Okay, defining the next pose. Left leg is sitting on the ground, and the right arm is coming front, which means the shoulder has to rotate in this direction. I will just rotate everything a little bit. Yeah, what I do in, and many animators don't do it, I guess that's each individual style, I never let any parts of the body freeze. So I always animate each part of the body, even if it's just a tiny little bit, but I prefer animating stuff a little bit instead of letting it freeze. I don't like if stuff freezes. For me that doesn't look naturally. If people are breathing, and people should always be breathing, they move somehow, even if they just move a little bit. So I always touch each part of my character and let it move just a little bit, so it's not freezing. But in walk cycle, actually, it's always everything in movement. Okay, same here, we did that already. I don't want that leg to, you know, slowly go down. It has to be straight before it touches the ground. So what I have to do is, again, use this keyframe and drop it 4 frames forward in timeline on frame 20. So now he gets his leg ready for touching the ground. It is straight for 2 frames, 3 frames, and then it slightly bends while he's getting down with his body. I'm sorry. Yes. So because we did that already, it's actually, we really only have two poses, this one and this one. 2 legs on the ground and 1 leg on the ground. These are the 2 main poses, which is the only thing you have to be able to do if you want to make walk cycle animation. So just remember those 2 poses. This one, which I will adjust slightly. I don't want the arms to be bent so much. So yes, the first pose, maybe. First pose, 2 legs on the ground. Looks like this. Elbows inside on the arm which is behind, elbows outside on the arm which is on front. And the second pose, just standing on 1 leg, other leg is bent slightly, a little bit more than the leg he's standing on. And yeah, these are our 2 poses. Okay, let's set a keyframe for the head. I did. Okay. Then go on, next 8 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, I forgot something. Anyone noticed what I forgot? I'll show you. Go back to frame 24 and we have to set a keyframe for the leg which is behind. Otherwise it will look really weird. Okay. So, now again, go 8 frames forward. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And define the next pose, which we have already done, just standing on the right leg instead of the left leg, which he's doing now. And remember, I'm always moving stuff in 3D space. I never touch any axis, maybe the rotation axis sometimes, but I did never touch those axes, did I? No, I didn't. I will do it now, just for the pose, because they are not so important, but I didn't never touch the axis. This is my, I guess that's my secret of animating. Okay, let's adjust this pose. So, yeah, this is the kind of middle pose. On the middle pose, where he's standing on 1 leg, there is no arm forward or backward. They are pretty much aligned, both, besides his hip. Then I will drop down his head a little bit one more time, and also his upper body. So yes, that's what we want. Okay, and now go on, next pose. Again, as I said, we did all the pose already, just on another leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You really only have to remember those 2 poses. I think it's the same with running, but we will do running animation in a second. Okay, so drop down here and then move it 4 frames forward, the leg, if you remember that. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, then let him go down. Yes, like that. Okay, his body is kinda weird. Yeah. So, now that the right leg is forward, we have to make the left shoulder slightly rotate forward, and of course the left arm is on the front. Yes. When making walking animations, you should always try to bend the arms and legs slightly, as when you walk, your legs and arms are not bent very much. It's just slightly. Instead of when you're running, legs and arms are bent a lot more, which we will see soon. Okay, then the back arm rotates slightly inside, while the arm which is on the front can rotate slightly outside. then set a keyframe for the head. And oh, I'm getting a couple of Skype messages. I'm afraid they have to wait. And well, yeah, set a keyframe for the leg which is behind again. Keyframe set. So I hope you are slowly, but you are hopefully getting into this and understanding what I'm doing. I will do one more step, and then you hopefully did understand the basics of walk cycle animation, how I do it. Okay, so we defined this pose, as we already did it for 2 times, I think. Yes, here and here, it's the same pose, just another leg. So yeah, next pose again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 frames forward. And the left leg is not touching the ground anymore. So move it something like this. Then slightly rotate my character. Okay, arms being aligned besides the hip. I don't want this to be rotating so much. Let's make it more straight. Okay, 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 okay. Everything is awesome. I really enjoyed the Lego movie. I'm sorry. So back to work. I'm selecting my components either in 3D editor or on visual selector, depending which is more handy at the moment. At the moment, if I would like to select the pole of the right arm, I would probably go to visual selector, as I can't see it. See? This one I would select in 3D editor. It's a really fast workflow if you have visual selector and these big selectors. To be honest, I don't understand why so many rigs only use these small lines. Maybe I'm just too stupid, but I can't select them. Whenever I click on them, I mostly select everything else than just the line I want to select. So this is why I have this big, easy to select selectors to move my character, which are not displayed in render, obviously. Okay. But we don't want to render this because it's just about animation. Good, we defined this pose. Go on, 8 frames again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there we go. The left leg is touching the ground. So on this position, then I move the keyframe forward 4 frames. Now the hip is touching it, and as I don't want legs to be bent that much, I have to play around a little bit. So like this looks better to me. I'm walking, the legs are not really bent much. Okay, and I will rotate his upper body, the shoulders, as the left leg is front, the right shoulder has to come front as well. Okay, and as the right arm is on the front, I have to rotate the pole a little bit outside. The other way on the other arm. So then, as I think I forgot the... Yeah. Did I? Yes, I forgot to drop down the head a little bit when he is doing this step up here. So let's do this. Perfect. 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 Okay, that's enough for walking animation. Let's see what we got so far. Okay, here he's walking. And, well, it's the first time actually looking at it, so that's how I animate. I animate and then I look at it. And it looks good for me. But that's because I'm used to it and I do it a lot of times. You have to practice. Hopefully you learned something. So this is how I do walk cycle animation. Just for those of you who do not have a strong computer, or let's say I have a big scene and I want to see this in real time. I don't know if this was real time. Everyone, watch closely and remember this. I click on this icon, click on it, stay clicked, and go on make preview. This is how you make hardware previews. Hardware previews, very important. Make QuickTime, H264, I using 25 frames, 25 I said, oh so, and quality, well, okay, this is a very compressed format, so it won't be a big file. Click OK, and it will make you a hardware preview of your editor, which you can then go watch in real time. Very important. And also I use hardware previews to edit my videos before I even rendered them. Okay, I just made a mistake. I don't want to make a full render, I want to make a hardware preview, as I just told you about hardware previews. So choose hardware preview. Software preview is pretty much the same, but I don't know the difference. Use hardware preview, that's my advice. And so you see how fast the hardware preview is generated, and there you can go watch it in the picture manager, or you can even open it in your Explorer and watch it with whatever you're watching videos on your computer. So this is what it looks in real time. Maybe I did even animate him a little bit too slow, but well, this guy is a slow walking guy, so it's okay for him. He walks slow. That's our walking animation. Alright, before we get into running animation, I got some requests on how does someone turn around. So I will just let him stand, stay, turn around, and then start walking into start running into the other direction. So let's try animate this. Alright, to do this I might have to increase the frame range, let's say 200, and go move along in the timeline. Yeah. So don't forget to set the keyframe on the left leg. What we are doing now is the let him turn around animation. Well, if you know how real people look if they turn around, you probably can animate them. Just imagine you staying, turning around, and well, that's what you're going to animate now. Okay, so let's try this. To be honest, I didn't do turnaround animations often. Hopefully I can do it now. We will see. Okay. So, if he wants to stop walking and stand, what am I gonna do now? I will just go some frames forward. I don't even know how many, it was just a feeling of me. Go some frames forward, move the leg not on the ground, but it should be not touching the ground yet. Okay, so like this, the arms going forward like this. As he tries to stand, he will rotate his body a little bit back, because he still has the velocity mass, which he has to, well, get it to stay still, if that makes any sense. If not, just watch and ignore my voice. Okay, like this. And now he is standing, so 1, 2, 3, 4 frames this time. Let him touch the ground. And I will be back in a few minutes. I have to go eat now. Very good. I finished eating. It was good. You didn't even notice anything. So, where did we stop? Oh yes. You wanted him to stand down and turn around and start running away. Okay. So, his left leg is standing where it is, I don't touch it, while his right leg is going down beside his left leg. Once both legs touching the ground, he has to kind of drop down for a little bit, which I will do in the next 4 to 5 frames. So drop down, get all the walking energy into his knees, and then he will start turning around. So his arms will move forward a little bit because of the velocity speed they got from the walk. To explain it physically. Okay. So this is how he stops walking. Looks not so good. The arms looking weird because they are straight at that point for some reason. So I will just adjust them and move them up a little bit. It should look better now. Then I will make the head up. So take a look. Well, I'm fine with that. So he stopped walking and is standing now. As he's dropping down a little bit in these 4 to 5 frames, he will take a breath and stand up for the next 8 frames. I don't know what. I just do it by feeling. I don't even count like I did at the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I used 9 frames to let him stand up and take a breath. This, well, you can get a feeling for timing if you animate a lot. And then you don't even have to think about how much frames do I get forward now. So, yes. Okay, let's let him stand up. Be happy. Move everything a little bit. Yeah. Perfect. Then, let him rotate. If he's rotating, what do you think he will rotate first? Yes, the head, of course. If you start rotating, you will always start by rotating your head. So I am going forward. I don't know, what do you have? 5 frames? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. 5 frames, rotate the head, go 1 more frame forward, rotate the shoulder, go some more frames forward, rotate the hip. But just a little bit for now. And the arms, of course, they have to move with him, but have a little bit of latency, which is why this arm is still a little bit on the front side. Then, of course, his legs will rotate, and his inner leg, while he's rotating to the right side, I will set a keyframe. Set the keyframe about here maybe, and then let him start taking off his right leg because he wants to rotate around his left leg, which he will just remain standing on. So I will do it like this. Okay, so first he rotates like that. In the next frames, let's, I don't know, go somewhere here, a few frames further. The head is looking at the other direction already, almost, while his hip is, let's say it's half done, like this. Of course it has to make sense. So then we will start rotating the other leg, which might go a little bit too fast, which is why I moved this keyframe forward. Then of course this leg has to at least show in that direction. Okay. And in the next, that's what we have, I think 6 frames, I will let his right leg drop down on the ground already. So then go to the arms, which I will touch again about here. Okay, so gotta move this a little bit, and let's rotate the body on his left arm, of course, and the pole. Good. Okay, more or less. This is weird. I will delete this keyframe. I don't know where it comes from. Okay. Okay, good. Let's see what we got. And well, that looks weird. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. What could I change? I could wait until he rotates his standing leg and let it rotate a little bit slower. What else could I change? Take a look. He's rotating. He's rotating. He's a little bit too fast. So this rotation is going too fast. So I will just drop that keyframe down a little bit, which means I also have to move the arm keyframe. That might be looking a little bit better, but this... oh my god, what do we have here? 2 keyframes, too short. That's not what we want. I delete this keyframe for now. And, well, that looks much better. I will delete that keyframe, or at least change it. It's too early to touch the ground already. So I will just let him do like this. That looks actually good. So as you can see here, what I am doing is actually playing around with my character, playing around with animation, and just trying to get something that looks acceptable. So animation is sometimes just playing around and trying to get the look that you want to, even though you don't know exactly what you want to have. You just wanted to make it look cool. And this is what I'm trying to get here at the moment. Okay, that's a little bit too fast still. Make it like this maybe. Rotate this a little bit more. And the arms. Okay, I'm getting a little bit too many keyframes here. Let's delete this one. Okay, that's fine. Maybe another keyframe for the head. And what do we have here? Make another keyframe too. Make some more keyframes here. Just a little bit. And see what we got now. Okay, he is kind of turning around like a dancer would do it maybe. This leg is floating a little bit too much. Maybe I could let it drop down at that keyframe already, which I will try now. Okay. Yes, well, yes, well. That looks not bad actually. Okay, so for the next keyframes, his hip is done rotating, and I will give a little bit of, how should I call it, after rotating to his upper body, which means it is rotating a little bit more and then coming back again. This is what I'm trying to do now, especially for the arms, as he got some energies from the rotation. They will now drop back a little bit until he gets them back a line besides his hip, looking in that direction. So Okay. What did I just do? I don't know, but it looks horrible. Okay, let's analyze it. There's a kind of stop in here and then suddenly it continues rotating, which I might just delete this keyframe to fix it. Looks kind of better, but I'm afraid I made too many keyframes. So yeah, let's select everything and delete this keyframe, maybe. Okay, that was a mistake. Don't do that. I'm quickly undoing it. So why is it looking so weird? There. At this position I might want his hip to move a little bit more to that side. So that's better now. This is going too fast. Let's change that pole. Oh, and here we have some weird keyframes as well. Yeah, and that one is going way too fast. Okay. Then I might want to just slide his leg exactly beside his other leg, and yes, see what we made here. Okay, let's try to get everything in standard position. Rotating, making it ready until he starts running away. So there we go. And now take a look. Okay, I don't like the arm. I hate it. I hate it. Let's change this maybe to something like that. Remove that keyframe here. Oh, arms is straight. I don't like arms being completely straight. Oh, it's not. Okay, never mind then. But still, this is going too fast. I will move that keyframe over here and change its position so that the arm is here, and here I might want to let his arm move backwards. Then this is going way too fast. Yeah, that looks much better. So what is he doing? He is rotating around. His head is also going a little bit too fast in my opinion. So I will take those keyframes. Yeah, that's better. Then I will delete this keyframe, which is a little bit too confusing. Maybe move that one over there. Okay, so here we got a nice little turning around animation. I want to let this foot do a little last step. So he did it. Then for one last time move that for a little bit, which does now look okay, it looks weird. It looks weird. Why does it look weird? because his hip is not moving up or down at all when he does his last step. It should be so. Okay, I'm just adding some more keyframes and being not happy with this animation at all. It doesn't really look good to me. Oh my god. Turning around animation is not easy. But I guess I will leave it like that. So that's okay, because I want to continue with the running part. Okay, so this is our turnaround animation. Maybe we want to watch it from the very beginning now. What is he doing? He is walking. Then he stands still, turns around. Actually, it does look good from that angle. And then he starts running away. Yes. Okay. So good so far. And now we are going to let him run away as fast as he can. That's what he wants to do. Perfect. Okay. To start running, we make sure we have our keyframes everywhere. So let's set keyframes. See, set keyframe at this position. Good, good, good. Okay, we have the main keyframe set, and first he will go down a little bit. Let's go down for 3 frames, and he will go down, bend his entire body. So, and which leg would he probably want to start when running from? I would say he will start running from his right leg, which means I set a keyframe at his left leg. Then his arms go down, start swinging, while his left leg will go forward soon. I have to start using his right arm to get it to the front. Okay, and his right shoulder should start by coming to the front as well. So he's going down for the next, let's say, 5 frames, or 4 maybe, 1, 2, 3, 4. I will let this leg go forward. He's now starting to run. I have to move my poles again and move him a little bit forward, and now let his body turn completely. Yes. So like this. This is the arm behind. And his shoulder, other shoulder and other arm has to be on front. So now you have to use the poles a lot. So he goes down, starts jumping away. Yes, goes down, and yeah, that looks good so far. And now when doing running animation, I do kinda have my base set up for keyframes, which means using 3 or 4 keyframes space for each pose. So this is already one pose, I think. The next pose is let me think, it's about 3 frames later, I guess. 1, 2, 3. Yes, only 3 frames later. And or actually let's make it 4 frames. For the next pose I already set his leg down on where he's going to land, his next step. Then I'm moving his hip up like this, and yeah, both legs are straight. Then I set a keyframe for the back leg and move my poles so they don't get everything making weird. Then we have his left arm on the back and the pole is showing inside, while we have his right arm in the front, and his pole, his elbow should be like this. See? Well, we had look at this arm, at his right arm. At that pose we had the elbow well, somewhere here, and now it looks like that, so it's much higher, his elbow. Okay, then I made this 4 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, then I will go forward for, let's say, 5 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what I'm doing now is go to the first pose we started here. So these are our 2 poses for running cycle. 1, 2. Now we do this pose again, just with the other leg. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I hope 5 frames are not too much, I don't know, but we will see. So this time his right leg is at the front, which could be somewhere here. Then he goes down to his knees. I move the poles forward. Maybe this a little bit more down, and I need to rotate the hip as it has to rotate to this side because that foot is on the front this time. Okay, like this, and I have to rotate his upper body to the other side as his other arm is moving front now. Yeah, okay. So let this arm move here, not making the elbow up like this, but this, and for the next pose we will let it go up. Then his right arm is on the back, and we need to fix that pole, which has to be somewhere here for the first. Okay, yes. So that's about it. Running, going down. So, and the next pose again. 1, 2, 3. Or did we make 4? I think we made 4. Move it to the next point where he's landing. Yeah. Then let both legs straight again. Set a keyframe for his back leg. And make his upper body a little bit more normal again. So, but it has to rotate to that side as his left arm is on the front now, like this. Yes. Okay. And this arm is up here. Elbow to the inside. Perfect, perfect. Let's make keyframes for our poles. Good. So here he is running. We might want to change something. Look at his arm. It is a little bit too close to his shoulder. which I don't want. And as you see, we don't have a keyframe in between here, so I will add an additional keyframe here, as I want him to swing his arm more outside, like this. And same probably for the other side. See what we have here. Okay, well, we don't have that problem yet, because we'll get it for the next step. So yeah, let's see what it looks like. He starts running. Yes. And here he goes. I will make one more step, and I just noticed that I might want to let him drop down a little bit more at that pose. Hop, hop. Yes. So, and for this one I want his body to be more straight, then go down, straight, go down. Yes, that looks much more better. Straight, yes, that's what we want. Take a close look. That looks nice to me. A nice cartoonic one, even though we have just one step animated. Okay, but that's how you do it. So we did set the keyframe here. Let's do one last step. So we said we have 5 frames and 4 frames between our poses. So now we have 5 frames. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I remember that right. And go into his next pose, which will look like this. And there we go. So let's rotate his hip a little bit and his shoulders. Okay. Then we want him to drop down his entire body. And take a look. As we see, he has his right arm on the front. We want his shoulder to rotate the same way. Let's just assign it real quick. So yes, that's what we want. The other arm is somewhere behind. Yeah, like this. Move it a little bit more inner. And yes, that looks fine. And here we see our problem with the arms. I will set a in-between keyframe again. Define it. Oh my gosh. That's not so nice. That's better now, yes. And same here. I will set a in-between keyframe. So he's swinging his arm more widely. Yeah, it looks better. Maybe move it 1 frame forward. And adjust it. Let's take a look. Yeah, that's okay. So, and one last step. 3 frames again, 1, 2, 3. Now we don't have our ground anymore. I have to guess where he's landing. Make him land somewhere here. Move his hip forward. The poles forward. Adjust some stuff. Let his body be more normal and straight. Again. Especially the upper part. Yeah. But it has to turn this side, so because his arm is on his maximum position. There we go. And this arm is on its maximum back position. More inner. And this doesn't look so good for some reason. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. So yeah, keyframe here, even though I won't go on animating, because that's it. Yes, so here he's running away. There's a little bit too much going on here. See, I might want to rotate him down a little bit and see what it looks like, but that's okay. So let's take a look at the entire animation from the very beginning. Here he starts walking, stands still, turns around, and then he runs away. Yeah, that's it. Anything else to mention? I don't know. So yeah, here we see our final animation, and it looks okay, as I would say. We can take a look at it at each angle, every perspective. That's cool about 3D animation. You can look at it from each perspective and play with it. So yeah, that's it. I hope you did learn some stuff and watch it closely. I will do more tutorials on compositing and whatever else you want me to do. So have a nice day and bye.